Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, delivered to you by the great folks at DoorDash.
Ding dong.
Use promo code CONVODD, capital C, capital D's, all one word, CONVODD. That will get 25% off and free delivery on your first order with the DoorDash app. I was in a dash this morning. My name's Dave Guidrelli, joined as always by the man who built the place, Chris Faber. Our technical producer here on the Canucks Conversation is Alex Allard.
Yeah, how you like that, Alex? You got my head straight up again.
Okay.
I have outsmarted you once again, Alex.
Anyways, I like this new intro. I like how we're doing things. I think I'll post on Twitter. I think it's a good one, and people should hear it. I was a little bit late. How did the snow affect you, Mr. Lives right next to the building?
All good. I heard from some people that they couldn't even make it home last night from the Canucks game.
Yeah,
well, a handful of media members.
Yeah, you know, it was Harmon that brought it up on the show he did on Friday. Yep. He brought it up. He's like, you called me and him money bags and all this stuff. Look at you. Like, you show your view every time we do a show.
Yep.
You're the rich getting richer.
No, I don't think so. This is all I got. This is all I got right here. Just this view, which is nice today. Yeah, look at that.
It is. It is really nice. And you know what? Yesterday, like, it started to really come down yesterday, as we talked about on the show. Mm-hmm. And it was really bad. Like, I got home and it was awful. But I got home. I had no problems. Thankfully, I got to leave. Like, people saw I was running out of here yesterday at 1:40. So yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
I forgot my drink for the show here.
Okay, what were you going to have?
A Gatorade.
And?
Well, I got to clear out my throat here. That's the problem. I think I got to get this Gatorade. Do you want to talk about a goalie or something?
Yeah, go get your Gatorade. Nothing but professionalism here on the
No. I'll stay.
I'm just joking around.
I want to
go get it.
I got some intro stuff to talk about here.
Okay, go ahead.
I like seeing this, and shout out to everyone that's tagged us in it. Please do tag us on Twitter when you post it. These the Spotify lists have come out.
Yes.
Have you seen these popping around the interwebs and stuff like that? The Spotify lists. I've seen a couple people tag us in that, listening to us quite a bit, so that's cool. Did I see one today? Someone listened to like 400 minutes of us, or 4,000 minutes of us.
Thanks, Mom.
No, it wasn't. It was somebody on Twitter. I don't think your mom's on Twitter.
No, she's not.
No, she's not on there.
Although we made an account for her, and the profile photo is like old photo of my brother and I, because we made it for her. But I don't know if it's active yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, get her back on there. She'll post how much she listened to. I bet this person listened to it more than your mom listens to. I don't think your mom.
My mom doesn't listen at all.
Show.
Yeah, she's like I go over to her house whenever I go over there. Well, not whenever, but I go over to her house. Bless her heart. But she'll go. What do you do again? Like, she has a rough idea of what I do, but she's like, someone asked me what you do for work, and I don't really know how to answer.
No, he gets it. He knows what's up. It was nice to see him last week. Was that last week? Couple weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago.
Saw him I haven't, because we used to always do the show there at Nono's place, but it was nice to get back there.
And it was very nice. You just came to visit him. He was ecstatic about that. I know he really appreciated it.
Oh, yeah. I had a good time, too. Watched a little hockey with him, little Oilers game.
Get the hot takes from Nono.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he's always got a little one-liner on you.
He's
always got a little zinger about the Canucks.
One-liner followed by the weather for the next week.
Yeah.
You're set.
Maybe we'll get a clip of that and cut to a clip one day. Just like a 7-second zinger from Nono. A weekly
I would
zinger.
love that.
That would be great.
Also,
other thing.
Go ahead.
Today's the 30th of November, the last day of November, Quads.
Yeah.
I have worked out every day. Every day I've worked out this month. I'm not working out tomorrow. I can guarantee that.
Nothing wrong with that. But you know what?
It's good. I'm happy I did it.
We talked about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. You're at the point now where you did it every day. You don't have to do it every day to stay healthy.
No,
you don't have to. You can go start going 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You do whatever works for you.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, I am going to keep going. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep going after early in the month, but you do feel quite a bit better. It is good. It's good to get the blood pumping and stuff like that. Plus, I find that there's a nice slot for me to go to the gym after we do the show, because will finish. It's 1:45. I got to post a podcast. I got to carry the show, everything, start prepping for tomorrow. But about 2:30 to kind of 3:30 area, it's a good little time, and it's dead. That's a good time to go to the gym. 2:30, 3:30.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final thing before we get going on the Canucks here.
Well, hang on. Final thing in the chat likes my hat. My girlfriend does not. She is watching the show and she texts me. I don't know why she's not in the chat. I always tell her she needs to jump in the chat, but
it looks like one of those dogs with the floppy ears.
Well, she doesn't like it. I wore this to IKEA and she was not impressed. She did not really like this. Yeah, but actually, I wear it out. I'll
tell you what though, too. It looks worse on camera than it does in person.
It's a nice looking hat.
No, it looks better in person.
Yeah.
The cam doesn't look very great, but yeah, the camera doesn't give it any help there. That's for sure.
Well, the problem. I don't think it's a problem, but I wear this big coat that has, this is all fake fur, by the way, just to be clear. Okay. But it has this like fake coyote fur. And when I wear it, I have the hood like pushed up right, like it's like flush. So it basically looks like I'm just wearing like 2 pelts. I think it
like
makes
a
me
lion mane almost.
Yeah, it makes me look like a trapper, I think. So
okay.
I think it's cool. Yeah. I like this hat. It's very warm.
It must be warm, yeah.
It's super warm. And you know what? $25.
Really? $25?
$25. Got it on
Walmart?
Sale. Nope, the Bay. It's a London Fog, baby. It's a London Fog.
The only thing I've ever bought from the Bay and worn was my I bought my sunglasses that I wore to prom there. I bought those at the Bay. That's the only thing I've ever bought from the Bay that I've worn.
I bought sunglasses at the Bay. The Bay's got good stuff.
I've bought cups from or glasses, I think you call them, because it was glass. So I bought glasses from the Bay. That was a good little buy there. I remember getting some deals over there back in the day. Can I tell another story about working at the mall at the A&W? I got a good Bay story.
Sure. Okay.
So when I was working at Woodgrove Mall, I used to manage the A&W there in Nanaimo. Shout out Woodgrove Mall. You've been good mall, there. Big mall,
it's
nice
a good mall.
It's a good island mall. So I used to for like this 1 month of the year, it was crazy. This 1 month, there was like this lady who kept lighting fires in the Bay. She would go to like one of the clothing sections and she'd walk in there with, I don't know, gasoline or something. She'd cover like one of the, like, the round things that have a bunch of clothes on them, like a clothing rack, but like a round one. She would put all this gas on it, light it, and run out. And she did it like 3 times in probably like a month or like a 6-week stretch. It was wild because like the whole mall would have to clear out because it was like a good size fire, like a round thing of clothes here.
That's just an arsonist. So did they ever catch her?
I think they did, because are you that or she just stopped? Like maybe she got away with it, but I know it was it was a girl that was doing it, and it wasn't good. It was wild. The whole mall would clear out, and we'd have to get out. No, they would. They'd get everyone out.
I don't doubt it. I just think I'm like, come on, I've been to that mall. That's a little extreme, but I guess you're liable if it grows.
Well, the Bay's big, yeah, it's a big one there.
That's true.
But it was crazy. Yeah, it was like 3 fires in a handful of weeks there. It was wild.
Chat is loving my hat. I just wanted to point out. Okay, let's get to it here.
Hey, whoever does the polls, I don't know who does the polls. I don't think it's Alex. Alex is snoozing. He puts me up sideways all the time. But whoever does the polls, do we like Quads' bangs or this hat? That's a good little poll question.
About both.
Tell the folks at Atlas Goods. That's our next poll question.
Did you see
this hat or bangs?
Look, I don't want to poke fun at other shows, but we're friends with those guys. Did you see Donnie and Dolly's poll question today?
No, I haven't. I've been working all day.
It was like, what interested you more yesterday, the snow or the Canucks game?
Oh gosh.
I was like, oh geez.
The snow probably ran away with that one, right?
The snow did run away with it last I checked. Good guys.
The best video I saw.
Good guys over there at Donnie Dolly. That was done with love.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We like Donnie. What did you see? The one video, the best one that I saw was that guy running like up the highway. It was one of the bridges. He was running up the highway,
Rocky.
And then that guy started playing the Rocky music as this guy's running through the snow on the highway, like the bridge going over. That was incredible.
Was it just me?
It's cleaned up, and I'm going out to Abbotsford tonight, so I'm not super worried. I feel like the roads have gotten better.
You'll be fine.
I'm looking at the roads out here, and come on, like there's not.
No, you're
these
fine.
Roads are clear.
Okay, you're also in downtown Vancouver, to be clear.
Well,
the roads don't look this good everywhere else. Like, this is also a main road that we're looking at, but the side streets you got to watch out for. You'll be fine on your drive to Abbotsford.
My friends and family back on the island, they had it bad.
Yeah,
people on the island had it bad.
Nanaimo got it really bad.
It hit early, and it didn't stop as quickly as it stopped here. But that was the problem yesterday, and we saw it a little bit on the screen. The snow was so windy.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It wasn't like sometimes you get the snowfall is just soft and gentle.
No, this hurt your eyes
like a mother's touch. But no, this one was blowing up. It was coming up that's the problem with it was going underneath my beard in my walk to work yesterday.
Okay. We're approaching the 10-minute mark here. We don't do this.
Okay, I know, but this is hockey related. Did you see this last night? The Kings and Kraken? Holy cow. A 9-8 overtime win for the Kraken. Are you kidding me? Halfway through the game, it was 6-5, I think. And I was just when I looked, it was like 8 minutes to go in the second period. And I believe it was the Kraken up 7-5.
Yeah, it was.
At that point, and I saw the interview. I was watching the Sportsnet, Sportsnet Central. Was that what it's called? The update show at the end of the night, and they asked, I forget which player it was. This is not a great story, but I watched it last night, and they were just like, yeah, that was a really hard game to play in. I was just like, yeah, I bet. Like, imagine how bad the coaches feel after that. But you come out, you score 9 goals. That's a fun one. That's a really fun game. I don't think there's going to be a game where we see more goals than that all season long. I'd bet on that.
Basically, the breakdown of that game was there was basically like 3 forwards and 2 defensemen that didn't get points on each team.
Wow.
Alex Edler was one of
poor guy.
I know. Guy just can't catch one. Alex Edler was one of the players on the Kings who didn't have a goal or a point for, but of those players that didn't get a point on the Kings, he was the only one that didn't have a negative plus minus. So there's that. And plus minus is going to be a theme on today's show, folks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're getting to that later. On Seattle, Jaden Schwartz, Yanni Gord, and Brandon Tanev were the only forwards that didn't get a point. And Ryan Donato, excuse me.
The Nation Network person, I just looked at the chat here. No needs her own segment.
Look, not everybody's Italian, okay? For those of you that don't know, Nonna.
That's probably, you know who that
grandmother.
is? I bet that's freaking your Rem truck over there.
Hey,
from the Oily Boys. I bet that's him over there.
I do have to say, him shutting down the Beatcast over at Oilers Nation.
There's a lot of drama in Edmonton right now.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, everybody should be emailing Tyler your complaints. Also, complaints about this podcast, go ahead and email those to him too.
Yeah. Let's put his email. Pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, let's pull up Tyler's emails.
Put a link in there too, actually. Why not? All right, let's get to the Canucks. We've been avoiding it for long enough. That was a horrendous game last night.
Yeah,
was that the worst game of the season for the Canucks to watch? Like, I mean, I think they looked probably a little bit more defeated against the Sabres in that home opener. But I tell you what, coming back after winning the whole road trip, sweeping the road trip, coming back, that was a tough watch to be. Even in the build, like I had my phone going the whole time playing the Abbotsford game, and it was kind of hard to continue watching that game almost after the first period. It just felt like the Canucks were defeated after the first period. It felt like there was a couple of really quick scoring chances for the Capitals, and they didn't score until like it was 8 minutes in maybe when Ovechkin scored that goal, maybe 6 minutes, something like that. Like, they were scoring chances before Ovechkin got his first, and then it just felt like the Canucks were always, to me, it felt like they were just a step behind the whole game. Like, it felt like they were really just like a step behind. The passes weren't there, or it's almost like they were just missing a guy in the right spot. Like, last night felt like the structure of breakouts was a big problem, and just how they were breaking the puck out. It didn't feel like they could ever gain a step on a guy when they were trying to enter the zone. They couldn't gain that step. They couldn't be first to pucks. It didn't look, it was a poor performance. And I think everybody talked about it in the post game, whether it be Bruce Boudreau or the players that we talked to, they were outworked. That was the thing. They were just outworked last night by that Capitals team who, like, the Capitals, they haven't had a good start this season, below 500, I think, up to this point. So they were desperate to get a win. Now you're going to have a team like Florida who just lost a couple in a row too. They're coming in here. They're going to be desperate to get a win. The Canucks need to really be desperate to get their own win here. They can't just, do these, if they want to get back into things and get back into the conversation, they really need to be desperate. They need to go out there and win like they did last year when Boudreau first came in here. That's what they need to do to really get themselves into the conversation. And I don't know where you want to start, but I'll say this. I'll bring up this stat as we get going. We'll get to Pettersson, I think, in a second. But the Canucks had 4 high danger chances in 50 minutes of 5-on-5. They had 4 high danger shot attempts.
So let's play a little game.
Oh my goodness.
Let's play a little game. Let's compare and contrast. Remember doing that in school?
No.
What the Canucks did in their wins on the road and what they didn't do last night. I'll start. Something that comes to mind is with Vegas, that Vegas game, Spencer Martin shut the door early. Vegas came out firing in that game, if you recall correctly. And that one could have got blown open very early, similar to how last night's did. Remember, Ovechkin scored, I think, his first goal within the first 5 minutes and second goal very shortly after. It was before the 8-minute mark of the period, 8 minutes remaining.
But there was a couple scoring chances before. Like, Spencer Martin made a really good save, 2 minutes
absolutely.
Into the game.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say Spencer Martin was the problem at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. Is Spencer Martin makes that save. Maybe the second one, sure. Maybe if Spencer Martin makes that save, again, his own words, that's one he really wants to have back, and he was really frustrated with himself. He took a lot of ownership last night. I believe the exact quote from him was that he puts a lot of that loss on himself.
Yeah, I think he talked about him needing to be better, and goalies in the spot that goaltenders are in, they need. And this, you know what, this sounded right out of the Ian Clark handbook, where the way that Ian Clark talks about goaltenders and how they're such a special position that does so much different than a player or a position player does. Like, you heard that exact quote that I've heard Ian Clark talk about in the past of you need to be a little bit better in that situation. I don't think Martin was bad either. Like, I just think that it was the Canucks, man. It was the team. The team didn't shut anything down. They just felt a step behind the whole game, and I think that was a really unfortunate game to watch because it sucked. And Yako brings up here, I woke up at 5 a.m. to enjoy that piece of art, he says in the chat, and that's yeah.
You compare more of that game, like. You didn't really go off what I said, but Spencer Martin, right? We talked about, he took accountability, all that sort of stuff. So that's one thing that didn't happen in the game. I'm not saying that the loss was on Spencer Martin. I'm saying when this team was winning games, Spencer Martin was really good, especially early in that game against Vegas. That's what I'm pointing to. Now, Another thing that happened on that road trip was Elias Pettersson got used in a matchup role. That line that remains nameless, a Canucks Army commenter called it the Expo line. I really like that one.
I thought it was the St. Petersburg line.
It doesn't matter. We're not getting into this.
Why the Expo line?
It's the West Coast Express is the train. You know, the train that goes from Waterfront to Mission.
People keep telling me about this West Coast Express thing. I think it's an urban myth. I haven't seen it. I've looked it up one time and it wasn't running. So I don't know if it's real or not.
This is the most typical, ivory tower, downtown liver.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you don't know.
Keep my liver out of this.
Us hardworking people, we take the West Coast Express.
Yeah, right. You don't know what the West Coast Express is.
I do. I'll explain it to you another time. But anyway, I'm not getting into that line. What I'm trying to say here is that line was really good. That line was really good on the road. They were really bad last night. And again, hardly their fault, I'd say. There was people, just slagging on Pettersson. He was a -5 on the night. Some notable names. I think it was J-Pat that tweeted this. That were also -5s in their Canucks career. Eric Branson, Lucas Spiza. Not company you really want to be with if you're Elias Pettersson. Elias Pettersson was clearly frustrated with himself last night. And I have trouble erasing all the good that he did on the road trip where we talked about how, hey, this is one of the best lines in hockey. They're playing a great matchup role right now. Elias Pettersson in particular is doing a very, very good job of that. Guy's up against the best goal scorer of our generation last night, right? And they got caved in. There's going to be times like that right now. And again, the thing I keep coming back to is it's so hard and just weird, really. Weird's the only word I feel like I can use to talk about this team on a day-to-day basis. Doing things day-to-day as the old management regime did for us. It's a Jekyll and Hyde type deal with this team right now. And one day you have this take, and then the second day it's the complete opposite. So the truth is somewhere in the middle, right?
How many years have we talked about consistency being a problem with this team, though? And you know what? It's been the years of this core being together.
That's what it comes down to.
They've had things in the past where it's hey, 5-on-5 scoring was a struggle 2 to 3 years ago. The defense has been a struggle for what feels like 6 years. But the thing through it all with this core has been the consistency, I think. That's the thing. Yeah, they can go on a great 15-game stretch of games, but having a couple of those throughout the season gets you into the playoffs. If you have some really good 15-game stretches, yeah, it does. But you've got to be a consistent team to actually be something in the playoffs. And I think that's what this core is lacking. So
yeah, this core is lacking a lot of stuff right now. Yeah. Again, we've talked about it. There's pieces to build around, right? Mm-hmm. Again, we've been saying that the turnaround's coming for a while, but what you don't want to see, and you can enjoy the turnaround. We were enjoying the wins on the road. Are you kidding me? It's fun to watch them win. Yeah. Absolutely. But the only thing is you have to keep in mind, again, this is all comes back to, it's weird to talk about them on a day-to-day basis, because you have to keep in mind, oh, wait, but then there's this problem, this problem, this problem. It all comes back to the holes, Chris. All comes back to the holes.
Oh, God.
Yako Rakola jumped in the chat and said, would it be fair to say that the difference between Demko and Martin's play has not been as significant as it has been made out to be? Yeah, I've been saying it for a while. I said it really loudly on yesterday's show. I got some heat for that, too. But yeah, it's not as different as people think. It does come down to goal support. In the end, Martin's gotten great goal support. He didn't get it last night.
Yeah.
Again, there's no that's why yesterday even I said there's no goalie controversy. Anybody who's trying to throw a goalie controversy out there, it's just I get it. you want something to talk about. I completely understand it, but there's no goalie controversy. And last night was a great example of why there's not a goalie controversy in this market right now.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens with Demko. We'll get to that later on the show.
Demko's getting the
some
next
questions
start.
for you. I know you like what would you do with. I know you like that. We're gonna
well, hang on a sec, because Demko's getting the next start.
Yeah,
At worst, they're gonna alternate. I think we're close to seeing Demko getting back-to-backs again in no time. Like Martin, give him credit. Martin started the second of a back-to-back and then started the game after that, right? I think we're past that. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Quick stats before we move on here. Pettersson line, they controlled 15.64% of expected goals in that game and had a 15.38 Corsi. They were absolutely getting crushed in their own zone. And like you said, Pettersson on the ice for all 5 goals against. Alex, can you pull this one up, the home record for the Canucks this season? Like the Canucks haven't been good this season, right? Obviously, like they're, say what you want about them, like potentially being in a playoff spot. And actually, I want to get to that in a second. But the 3rd worst team in the NHL right now at home when it comes to points percentage. They've also only played 9 games, so they need to get on a little bit. They're going to get a run here of a lot of home games. They got to play better than they have so far this season, picking up only 7 points in those 9 games. So that's unfortunate. But this was talked about a little bit at the rink today. So just when the Canucks start to get into the conversation, right? How many times do they fall out? As soon as they're just about to get in that conversation, right? They just fall. It happened last year multiple times, multiple times when they were making a run.
They're 1 point out.
Just when they're 1 point out. But to me, when you're that close, I think you can be carried by something, right? Like, let's talk about it with the Flames and the Oilers. They were in that little mix with the Canucks there.
Yeah.
3 days ago, right? What do the Oilers have that's going to carry them through that? What's the Oilers thing that's going to carry them through? What is it called? What's the Oilers' biggest strength?
Connor McDavid.
Yeah. So Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they're going to carry you out of that. With the Flames, what's their biggest strength? Coming out of there, if they want to get out of that mushy middle, what's the Flames' best thing, do you think, to get out of there?
Probably Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, they're defending, I'd say. Their whole defense core, their goaltending, their style of play, their defensive style of play under their coach. So what's the Canucks thing that's going to get them out of there?
Thatcher Demko.
It would be the goaltending and the power play, right? The power play being the best in the league, and the goaltending being the best.
And you're right. I say Thatcher Demko, and that's very true for the Canucks. Jacob Markstrom isn't as true for the Flames. You're right. The defending is the big thing for the Flames.
And this is what I say with these 3 teams that are right there, all together, really close in points a few days ago. Which one are you the least confident in right now? Are you not confident in Connor McDavid being able to carry a team? Are you not confident in the Flames defense? Are you not confident in the Canucks goaltending and power play? To me, the power play you feel pretty good about. Do you feel good about the goaltending of the Canucks right now? Not incredibly.
I still think it's going to turn around.
I think it is
I think Demko's going to turn around in a big way.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get to a point this season. Demko would have to be on a huge run to really get him back into the Vezina conversation. It's going to take a lot of really good games for Demko to get back into that conversation. He might be out of it already. We're a quarter way through the season, and I don't think he's anywhere near the conversation of a top 3 goalie in the league.
Yeah, obviously.
And I think that's what they need if they want to be a playoff team. They need that, and they need special teams, and their special teams has let them down on the penalty kill throughout the season. So I'm feeling a lot more confident about the strengths in other teams right now than it would be with the Canucks and their strengths to kind of pull them through these tougher situations or situations that aren't even tougher, just spots where you need points. I feel a lot more confident in those other 2 teams' ability to separate themselves. And the Canucks, I feel to separate themselves. And that's why you look at that spot when the Canucks are in. That's why to me, it's why it always happens. They get to that spot where they're in the conversation, and that's where the other teams show that they're just better. That's when they separate themselves.
Yep.
We saw it last year, near the end of the season when it felt like they were just making the push. Then they lose a couple tough games, and then they're just out.
They lose at home 1-0 to Detroit.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to say.
Those type of games, I'm sorry, but that doesn't happen if you have Connor McDavid in your lineup. He doesn't allow that to happen. And the Canucks power play can do so much. I think it's their best strength. I think it's the best thing on their team.
0-for-3 last night.
Exactly. So there's a perfect example of it. I think that's the thing that's going to be able to pull the Canucks out or pull the Canucks into win streaks is the special teams and the goaltending. And I just don't feel as confident as I do in what the other teams have to pull themselves out of those mushy middles.
And that's not I had to explain this so many times, but when we talk about the goaltending right now, it's not a criticism of the Canucks goaltenders. It's a criticism of the roster that's been constructed in front of them that allows some of the most, highest of danger chances in the league, right?
To me, it's the most dangerous team to play behind.
Yeah,
it has to be.
If you want to get a big payday as a goaltender, don't play for the Canucks.
No,
hey, Jacob Markstrom did it.
Yeah, and lately I've been watching a lot more hockey around the league. And it's like I see them defend so much better. They just like the Canucks sometimes just they just get skated right through to the net.
Yeah, when
and
you
other
watch
teams do a really good job of not allowing you to just drive to the net like that.
When you watch other teams, you really start to see like, oh, you're not supposed to be able to just skate there.
No,
or you should win that board battle, or you should come up there. You shouldn't retreat. A lot of different things that happen when you don't watch Canucks games.
No, and I think that's the thing. Like the Canucks, sometimes when they do it well, they have success, like they did on the road trip. Like it felt like they didn't allow teams to go. And yesterday just felt different. It felt, and that's the thing. The consistency is the same thing that's killing me. Can we get to the new lines real quick?
Yeah, get to it
just quickly, because I think we'll touch on this a little bit more tomorrow ahead of the game against the Panthers. We got some changes at the top, as I tweeted out here, because I flipped it. You know, I see Batch out there. He's like, I tweet the lines as I see him. I told him I'm going to flip it. My top line now is Pettersson, Kuzmenko, Mikheyev. And I know they got ripped last night, but this is my top line now. This is how I'm tweeting out the lines. Pettersson's line, he's number one now.
You don't do it in the order they skate? You just fire them off?
That's what I said to Batch. I said, I'm going to start doing it differently now.
Good.
Because I think that's the first line. If you're going out there and you're in a tie game, which line are you putting out there? Putting out the Pettersson line.
Or are you putting out this new look line of JT Miller, Bo Horvat, and Brock Besser, who is in place of Niels Höglander?
Yeah, Besser was he was excited to get with these guys. He was saying like those two guys are absolutely buzzing, and he knows this is a big opportunity for him. Brock Besser playing with Horvat and Miller. I think so.
Höglander was good.
Let's see what happens here. Höglander scores a goal in yesterday's game against Demoda. That's a tough look for him.
You wrote it in Scenes from Morning Skate today, which I've yet to actually post. I'm going to get going on that as we do the show. But you wrote that Jack Studnicka was on that third line with Sheldon Dries and Niels Höglander, and that Connor Garland looks like he might be the guy as the odd man out.
Yeah, they were rotating, but Studnicka was taking first reps. So he was out there first, then Garland took the second. I also noticed like in some drills, like those three were standing beside each other. Garland was kind of off on the end there, kind of with like the Dermott situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if Garland gets a scratch. I know Boudreau when Boudreau calls a player too cute, they don't stay in the lineup for long. And last night, Bruce Boudreau said Garland's been too cute lately.
Garland has been too cute lately. Like I know he gets, he gets all the love from the analytics people. And I'd be curious to see what it is this year, because I don't want to just put words in people's mouths. But like last year, the analytics community loved them some Connor Garland. He was the Canucks' most valuable player to a lot of them, right? Yeah. Again, we both like analytics. We both read about him. We both pay attention to him, right? But when you watch Connor Garland play, it's different than what you're being told by the nerds. I don't want to call them the nerds.
Be nice to the nerds out there.
I'm just joking. Michael Liu does a really good job with our analytics-based post game.
Mike a nerd.
Yeah, it's more so this is just me using our show to air grievances at JD Burke, which I'm sure a lot of people really like. But
that could be a whole episode.
Yeah, that could be a whole episode. It's just JD and I always go back and forth about Connor Garland.
Yeah, aside from the forward groups.
Sorry, to close my point and not just make it me slagging Garland and JD. I wouldn't be surprised if Garland's the odd man out. Do I think he should be out in place of Jack Studnicka? Probably not. But Vasily Podkolzin's in the minors right now, and I think he'd be the guy that probably should slot into the lineup.
Yeah, Sheldon Dries starting to cement himself a little bit. Hey. You know what I thought about this with Sheldon Dries? Okay, so yesterday I had this thought in the press box watching Sheldon Dries play. Sheldon Dries feels like, in like the late 90s and early 2000s when like baseball players were doing a lot of steroids.
Yes.
And they gain that little 10% and then they extend their careers or become better players. I feel like Sheldon Dries needs that little 10% boost. Like, I'm not saying he should do steroids, but like in the situation where a lot of these guys in the MLB just needed that little boost to extend their careers, or Barry Bonds needed that little boost to hit 73 home runs. Like, if you could give Dries that just like a 10% boost to his skill, he would be a really good player, but it just feels like he's a half step behind certain times. He's can't quite make the pass, gets pushed off a little bit too much. Like, if he only had that 10% better play, like, he would be a really good NHLer. I think if he had if he was 10% better at everything, Sheldon Dries would just be a perfect 3C. But like right now, he's holding his own, I think, at this point.
He's fine. He's fine. Mm-hmm. You know what? They were winning all those games with him. Last night didn't help the Dries record, but whatever. You keep him in.
I like him. Good dude. I like Sheldon Dries.
And that's the thing. Sorry to cut you off, but like, when does Curtis Lazar move back to center? Because we had that one practice where Curtis Lazar played center, and Bruce talked about the importance of getting him back at center, and we just haven't seen it since.
No, and you know what? I don't think it's far away, because I think Studnicka is going to
slot in on the fourth line.
Bruce doesn't mind him in that spot on the fourth line, right? And so I don't think it'll be long. If they struggle again, I think that's maybe the next move here.
Yeah.
But actually, we'll talk about the defense core right now before we get to the next thing. Quickly, Stillman skating with Tyler Myers. Kyle Burrow's out on the outside looking in. He was skating with non-contact Dermott.
All goes back to that. It's weird to cover this team day to day because I've lost the energy.
Day-to-day.
I've lost the energy to be like, Kyle Burrows should be in the lineup because he should be, but he hasn't been spectacular either. What do you really have to lose putting Stillman in?
I look at it and I'm like, hey, that wasn't the problem yesterday. Kyle Burrow's wasn't the problem.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to yell about Riley Stillman anymore.
Exactly.
And I don't think anyone in the chat even thinks.
And Riley Stillman's a nice guy. We've talked about it before.
Exactly.
Nice guy.
All right. So that's the thing. We'll just like graze over it. Like we'll see Stillman probably play against Florida tomorrow.
You read the lines. Good job. Let's get to the what would you do with?
Yeah.
You've prepped this.
Yeah, I have here. All right. First question for you, Quads. I know you like the what do you do with thing. You love this segment. It's your favorite segment here.
It's by my favorite writer, Stefan Roger, Canucks Army. Check it out.
Wait, this is Stefan's thing?
Yes, this is Stefan's thing. Did you really not know this?
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
You know what, Alex? Get to Abbotsford. Screw it. We're skipping
come on.
Give me
one. Give me one. What would you do?
All right. I forgot this is Stefan's thing.
Whatever.
Damn it.
Let's go. Hurry up.
All right. Freaking this Roger guy's everywhere.
Let's go.
Vasily Podkolzin and Jack Rathbone's time in the AHL. What do you need to see from them in the AHL or see from something else in the NHL to get either of these players back?
Get Rathbone killing penalties. Get Podkolzin killing penalties. Make these guys complete players.
You know, he was like the third set of forwards to go out there. I was a little surprised by that. And he wasn't on the power play. Podkolzin. I'm out there tonight. Me and Carlton, we're going to have a talk.
Well, it's just like, what do you even say to that? Like, what do you, like, I get they have their power play. And again,
they got Lane Peterson, man.
Life in the AHL is all about your guys moving all the time, but I don't know. I just feel like if you have this guy who's a pretty clearly an NHL player, wouldn't you want him? Anyways, we're not getting into it. We're not questioning Abbotsford lineup decisions. If it were me, you ask what would you do? What would you do with? I would skyrocket it. You give Podkolzin 25 minutes a night. Get these guys playing. Like from a developmental standpoint and also Abbotsford winning game standpoint.
So the other part of the question, is it more about what happens to them in the AHL or what happens to the NHL team when they get called up? Is it more about the NHL or the AHL play?
I mean, both. It's like if there's an injury at the NHL level, they'll get called up. But for Rathbone, like Rathbone's not getting in this lineup for a while, I don't think. Like, I don't know. I think you need to see a lot more from Jack Rathbone than what you've seen this year. And he needs to play. Like, let the guy play. Just let him play.
Yeah, he got laid out last night too. Chase Waters steps up for him.
Big Chase Waters, our friend of the show.
Yeah, he hurt his hand. I don't know I'll figure out what's going on with him today.
You say I'll finger out?
Don't worry about it. What would you do with Thatcher Demko starts? You can pull this one up, Alex. The December schedule. Pull it up, Alex. So there are a lot of days off here in December, right? We've talked about this before. We brought this up. The days, only one set of back-to-backs. Is it time to let Demko kind of go off here and get into that rhythm that I think is that the thing that's missing from Demko's game, giving him that rhythm? Look at all these days off here we got.
That's not the thing that's missing. They gave him the chance and he didn't do it. So you have to do exactly what the organization said they're going to do. And when I say the organization, I mean Bruce Boudreau. Obviously, he's consulting Ian Clark and they work together on these decisions. But what Bruce Boudreau said was basically that, like Spencer Martin's going to start tonight. He said this yesterday. But it's not like Martin's going to start 8 in a row. It's, easing Demko back in to the point where he's the guy. I think from here on out, you alternate starts until Demko starts to pull away. Because, again, like I said earlier, I think the difference between the two guys, there's been a lot made of it. And I think it's been blown a bit out of proportion simply because the Canucks have won more games when Martin's in net. Yeah. So, again, you see last night kind of, I guess it even out a little bit more. I'd like to see them split starts for a few games here.
13 games in December.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Here's what I'd like to see. 9 games of Thatcher Demko. 4 games of Spencer Martin. You got the back-to-back, so they're going to split that. But like you look and they play Florida, then a day off. Arizona, day off. Montreal, day off. San Jose, then 2 days off. Then Minnesota, 3 days off. Calgary, 2 days off. Winnipeg, day off. St. Louis, 2 days off. Then that back-to-back. Then 3 days off. Like there's a lot of these 2 and 3 days off where that should not be an issue. I think Thatcher Demko should get like 9 games this month. And I know, everyone's really liking Martin, and I like Martin too. One of my favorite people to talk to on this team. But you got to get, like, if this team really wants to start doing something and make somewhat of a push and be able to, get into the conversation once again or stay into the conversation, whatever you think, you got to get Demko going. I think 9 games out of the 13 this month. You got to play him there.
8 and 5 is probably what I would set it at. But if Demko bounces back the way that the Canucks are hoping, the way the Canucks are hoping he will, and the way I think he will, I'm saying Thatcher Demko gets closer to what you're saying, the 9 mark.
Last one.
Okay.
Kraft dinner. Do you put milk in there or no milk when you're making Kraft dinner?
No, I don't actually. It's just butter.
Just butter?
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. I don't make Kraft dinner though. Annie's.
Yeah, I had Annie's last night.
Annie's
actually,
solid.
It's good.
But I like the Kraft dinner that you make once in a while.
Yeah, no, I like Kraft. My stepbrother and stepsister, they put milk. They put so much milk in that it's almost like a soup. It's so gross.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And like, I can understand if you do just like a splash, right? Just like a splash of milk in there. That's cool. But to me, you don't need it. You use the butter. I think that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know what the box says. The box might say to add milk.
It does.
It's like a tablespoon. So like people that pour it in there and they get it all. Like, come on, what are you doing?
No, it's incorrect. It's incorrect and it's offensive. Okay.
It is.
Let's get to the Abbotsford win.
Big win in Abbotsford.
Cody Sievertson, shout out Cody Sievertson, wrote the Farmies report last night, and it was very good.
Yeah. I see he's talking about my Hyundai in there. Okay, let's pull this up, Alex. Youth on the farm. I'll tell you what. I there was a really funny reply to one of my tweets. They're like, do the Canucks now have one of the best prospect pools in the AHL? And I'll tell you what, Jack Rathbone. So listen to this. Jack Rathbone, 23 years old. Vasily Podkolzin, 21 years old. Danila Klimovich, 19 years old. Archer Silov's got the start, 21 years old. Vinny Arsenault scores. He's 30. Like, they got a whole bunch of good young players on this team right now. It's like there's a couple of guys that I think should be in the HL, but this is a good time to watch the HL play. And I'm sure Cody appreciated this last night, like watching that game. It was an entertaining game where these players, like I forget, like looking at the right side, all their right wingers in that game. I was like, okay, you got like Podkolzin, Lockwood, Carlson, Klimovich. Like, there's a guy on each line that you're like, I should watch this shift. Like, sometimes when I'm out in Abbotsford, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pay a ton of attention to these bottom 6 lines because none of them have NHL players there. But like those 4 players that you're looking at, one on each line playing the right wing, good chance that, or at least a chance that they'll play in the NHL.
Klimovich scored last night.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the prospects report in a little bit here.
Yeah, you're right. The 3 guys down there.
I was, you know what? Archer Silov's last night didn't have the best game.
Yeah, but he was fantastic late.
No, but
I think
maybe Alex, you can pull up the Abbotsford thing.
My theory: Jack Rathbone with Vasily Podkolzin go down. Hear me out here.
Yeah.
The Canucks then blow a 3-goal lead, a multi-goal lead gets blown as soon as so is Vasily Podkolzin and Jack Rathbone the problem the whole time? I call him.
Yeah, but then they scored 3 straight after that.
I
tell you,
yeah, 6-3 win. 6-3 win.
Save percentage for Silovs. Oof.
Yep. He stopped them on the power play though. 0 for 2 for the Condors last night.
True, very true, very true.
And Silov's held them to 19 shots. That's great.
Yeah. All right.
Someone's gonna think I seriously just gave the goalie credit for shot suppression.
You want to see the Klimovich goal? Should we get to that?
Yeah, get to the Klimovich goal. Give us your
big prospects report today, but we'll get to the Klimovich goal. Blow me up, Alex. Pull it up here. Pull me up, Alex. Full screen. Full screen. There it is. All right. Oh yeah, I got to do it. Sorry, my bad. There it is. Okay, the Klimovich goal. Let's get to it. So he comes down the wing. Nice, like good to see. I tell you, I think that was his best game that I ever seen from Klimovich last night. Like that might have been the best game I've seen from him. He was, it just felt like he was locked in, and he was skating, he was creating, he was getting back on the forecheck a little bit harder. Then he scores a nice little goal where has the good little dangle there. And I tell you, I was telling Alex before we started to get going here, I was playing the clip. What are they doing on the broadcast here? Okay, what are they doing on the broadcast? They show the goal. And then you can start to see Klimovich's celebration. And here's the goalie. Who cares about the goalies? This is the problem that hockey is broken. Everybody loves the goalies too much. So what did I do? I got you covered. I flipped it over. I got the celebration because people want to see this. Look at this. Like, this is way better. Yeah, let's zoom in on the goalie. No, look at this celebration. He's fired right up. Okay, good celebration. So down to one knee, did you just fist bump? Boom, there it is.
Where did you get that video?
Don't worry about it. I got people in Abbotsford I talk to all the time.
It was these cameramen that you're brutally criticizing that got you that video.
No, I think the cameramen are doing a fine job. It's the people behind the scenes at AHL TV. That's who I'm calling out.
I don't think you understand how a
broadcast
broadcast
works. And I got to see
works.
these people. I see them all the time.
It's pretty shocking that you don't quite understand how the broadcast works.
Are you kidding me? I'm on this broadcast sometimes.
That's even more shocking.
No, because I always yell. I said, bring it up, pull it up. It's the same thing.
Pull it up, Alex.
You think I'm mean to Alex? You hear me on doing color in the AHL yelling at people.
All right. Betway.
Not a lot of prospect stuff. Yeah. Nobody else played yet, but I'll be out in Abbotsford tonight. I'm going to watch
a bad break there, Faber. The defenseman stepped in front. Play that first angle back. I got to step up for these people.
Oh, yeah. Alex is Mr. Broadcast over here.
Oh, wow.
So what are you talking about, Alex?
No, right there. Lavoie is the problem, not the director.
Don't put it on the defense, and that's because they zoomed in on the goalie.
No, it's not. He's talking about when it flips. Okay, enough of this. We're done.
Why go to that angle?
We're done. There's a great handheld angle of the celebration, and they were obviously holding that tight follow look for the revisit later, right? And it's all a bigger picture thing.
Wow. Just absolutely.
I don't believe it.
You know what, Alex? Cut to Chris. He's bright red right now.
I'm not
just
bright
getting
red. That's
knowledge dropped on him. Oh my gosh, I have never seen this. The turntables, I'll tell you.
No, everybody's wrong here except for me. That's the problem. Everybody else is wrong.
Okay.
You keep the camera on the goal scorer. They got that back view.
Yep.
What do they don't need to cut to that one.
Okay.
The other hammer. What? So where's the other one then that comes from this celebration?
Enough.
What if he jumps into the glass and it's this great, like right in your living room?
You got this one right here, Alex. The video. That's the one I got up here right now. This is what you need. He jumps in the boards. Boom, right there. This cameraman knew what he was doing. What? They all probably looked at the goalies together.
Are you done?
No,
Are you done?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Get to the Betway wrap up. Get us out of here.
All right. Everyone else is wrong. It's not me.
You sound like a owner of something.
No. All right. Betway. Let's get to our Betway bets of the day over on Betway. Rasmus Dahlin and Dylan Larkin both get 3+ shots. They're both averaging over 3.5 shots per game. So I like this one at plus 162. So you got the Sabres and the Red Wings tonight. Should be an interesting game. I think the Sabres, they also want to they got to get back on track. They just lost 2 games in a row as well, and that was after losing something like 7 games. They want to be better. They're not going to let this thing run out. So I got the Sabres to win over 6.5 total goals, but also Dylan Larkin scoring. He's got how many goals does Dylan Larkin have on the year? 21 game squads.
Don't know.
Take a guess.
Literally haven't looked. Let's say 13.
No, he's got 9 goals on the season. How many games has he gone without a goal?
Dude, I don't know.
Just take a guess.
3.
For it, not bad. 2. He's gone 2 games without a goal. He's got 9 on the season. So I got him scoring tonight. Plus 700 on that one. I feel pretty good about that one, getting the Sabres ones. I'll tell you, quickly cut back to this is the camera view you want right here. Look at this cameraman deserves a raise. That's a good cut right there.
Okay. All right.
You stay on the goal scorer. You get that one. You get the angle there. Boom.
All right.
Oh, that's the money shot right there.
Okay. Go check out our friends over at Betway. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. We'll wrap it up there.
Oh, no. We got a listener photo too.
Oh, great. Okay. I have time for this.
Yeah. Knucklehead. We see him in the chat all the time. From Karamias.
Wow.
Karamias BC sent because remember I said yesterday on the show, I said, hey, if you're listening to the show, listen to the podcast, take a photo of what you're looking at. And this is beautiful.
Is that frozen?
You see, no, that's the Ashnola Creek, which I hear from Knucklehead is a good cool off spot in the summer.
That's sweet. I drove through that place, Karamios. Yeah.
You know what? So and got to give a shout out. Knucklehead and his dad, they listen every day after work on their drive home from work, listen to the show. So thank you. But I swear, he tells me this in a DM today. But I swear, Knucklehead's always in the YouTube.
Have you ever thought there might be 2 Knuckleheads? Seems like a pretty common
because
name.
No.
I think you might be right. I think it's
just
the same one. Anyways, yeah, that's a beautiful shot. I hit it on the drive back from a Soyuz.
Oh, it's nice, yeah.
Okay. We'll wrap it up there. For my co-host, Chris Faber, and our technical producer, Alex Allard, my name is Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
Back to the Klimovich money shot.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?